Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-888-88-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information and find out if indeed Mike the Mariner is once again underwater. Last we checked in with him, he was bailing out water of, Lake Sanford. What is the name of that lake where you have your vessel there,
well,
Mike?
it's Lake Monroe, but it's really the St. John's River.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ian came in there, did a number on him. And then we had this tropical storm come in last week, and it hit us here in Central Florida again. It was much milder, a Category 1 for us in Central Florida. Now, you may have heard the people out there on the East Coast, and we wish them the best. There's been a lot of beach erosion and problems along the coast. But, inland, it hasn't been too bad. We just got a lot of rain, a little bit of, wind and that kind of thing. However, when you're already saturated, like we've been in Central Florida in particular, people were a little bit on edge. And Mike was one of the first people I reached out to after the storm to find out how it affected him, because I knew he was already, pretty much underwater where his boat was. So what is the latest, Mike?
Well, so the interesting thing was when after Ian passed through, and we had epic rainfall totals that brought the river from like its mean level all the way up to almost 9 feet at flood stage. Flood stage is 5 feet.
Okay.
So think about that. So water was all the way into downtown Sanford. The Civic Center had water in it, and the entire Seminole Boulevard, which is the road that goes down the lake for 3 or 4 miles, was completely underwater.
The lake got bigger right into downtown Sanford, which is not ideal
absolutely.
For the local businesses and residences. If you're a boater, I mean, heck, I guess you got more real estate to work with, but that's not the thing. Yeah, Patrick.
To be fair, downtown Sanford was due for a cleaning. So.
Well, there's it depends on how you look at it. Exactly.
Hey, gotta make lemonade,
Right.
Well,
so
for any of our listeners that know Sanford, the Marina Island, the entire parking lot was under 2 feet of water. So that is as high as anybody has ever seen it in recorded history. So
is that where the Holiday Inn and Wolfie's and all that?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And if you know the pizza place, which my dock is right behind the pizza place, that entire parking lot was under 2 feet of water. Now, over the course of several weeks, the water has gone down about 3 feet.
Okay.
So think about that for a second.
All right, but it's still above flood stage.
Since Ian,
right?
Still above flood stage. All these weeks later.
Yeah.
Then we get hit 43 days later by another hurricane, Nicole.
Right.
And thank goodness this storm had a lot more dry air in it, and it was more wind than rain. But the projections are the water will probably come up about another foot. So it's gone down 3 feet. It's probably going to come back up 1 foot. And then it will be Christmas before the river is at its normal level again.
Wow. So it takes a little time for it to filter through the river and affect your particular area. So you're still in that process where the water's coming in and rising just a tad, even though it's been, 4 days or 5 days since the storm came through.
Yes, it's risen about 6 inches in the past 24 hours.
Wow. Patrick, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, everything that Mike is, that Sanford is experiencing right now. And again, our condolences to the city of Sanford, because apparently, according to Mike, the only pizza parlor that they have is out of business right now, and that's certainly a sad.
No,
day.
they're open.
See?
They are actually open, and
available for pickup by water.
He's a friend of mine, and I want people to buy his.
Yeah, they deliver by boat
up and running
if they need to, whatever it takes.
That's why he's staying on his boat tonight. Yeah,
there you go. But only one pizza parlor in the city of Sanford.
Okay,
or at least only one that Mike recommends. But everything that Sanford's experiencing right now, this is all days later, affecting Rusty, up in Jacksonville as St. John's flows north. So, and Rusty's been having to deal with a lot of issues at his dealership, Jacksonville Marine, on Doctors Lake.
Really? So I haven't talked to him. Have you talked to him, Patrick?
He hasn't had time to talk.
Right.
He has been sending out messages in bottles because they are flooded.
Wow. All right.
If you track the storm, there was a lot more damage along the East Coast up to Daytona and Jacksonville compared to other places because that was the strong side of the storm. So it just beat it up pretty bad.
Well, here's the other thing. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about this, and he's on the west coast of Florida, and he said, well, it's only going to be a Category 1. And I said, well, okay, but look at the wind field. The wind field is 350 miles wide. When this thing comes ashore in southeast Florida, Jacksonville will be getting tropical storm force winds. Think about that. This was a gargantuan storm. So you can't look at the category of the storm. You really have to look at what its impacts are going to be based on the size and overall strength. It really devastated. There are buildings in the Daytona area, several condo buildings that are condemned.
Yeah. Well, it's the beach erosion
yes.
that pounded the coast. And after Ian, it's probably already, weakened. And then it came in and just took a bunch of sand away. And I mean, even down there by Barry at Lauderdale by the Sea, they lost a pier or a good chunk of the commercial pier there at Lauderdale by the Sea. So a lot of damage has happened that probably the national media or a lot of people across the country don't realize how ugly it has been along the coast from Daytona all the way down, really.
Yeah, exactly. My marina is 40 miles inland as the crow flies between Cape Canaveral and where we are. And this storm created significant damage. There are docks at the end of Sea Dock where I am. There are finger docks that are wrecked. We had to move boats today away from those areas because the boats slammed into the docks. The docks twisted almost 90 degrees, and they're impassable. So it's very unsafe to even board your vessel. So they had to move. They're moving boats as we speak, just to move them to safer areas.
So when the storm was heading our way, Mike, did you take any special precautions other than what you had done before Ian?
Xanax.
Well, Xanax. No,
extra booze.
So when Ian was on its way, the week before Ian hit, we knew it was coming our way. I knew that the water would rise so much that I would need to move out. So I proactively picked another slip that a friend of mine that is currently doing the Great Loop, so he's gone, was open. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm taking your slip for a few weeks. So I moved my boat out from under the covered area.
Yeah.
And I will say this, before Ian hit, I moved the boat forward in the slip and I double lined everything and I added extra spring lines, and it wasn't enough because we had 65 mile an hour winds hitting the bow of the boat, and my lines stretched almost 3.5 feet, and the stern of my boat hit the dock. So I didn't spring it forward enough. So this time I springed it even further forward and added even more lines, and we were fine for Nicole.
Well,
no damage, no issues.
Patrick?
I just want to point out that when we were talking about preparing for Ian, I said triple lines. I just want to point that out. Nobody ever listens to me. I said triple lines.
But we thought he was talking about cocaine, so we didn't really know what the heck he was blurting out at the time.
Did Patrick say something? I wasn't listening.
And
the limitation.
Mike,
the limitation there is the.
Yeah, the limitation is what, Mike? Go ahead. What?
Well, I have a limitation there because my lines are fairly large, and my cleats can't accommodate 3 lines. So double is all I can do.
All right, more cleats. He needs more cleats, and then he can get more lines. But the good news is he survived Nicole, evidently better than Ian. But, we'll see how it progresses as time goes on. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the world of boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Welcome aboard. I will be your captain. You'll be my scallywags. I don't know what that means, but you will be them. And here's how we play.
Thank you for your attention and welcome aboard.
Let's go.
This is the world of boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounded out the crew. All right, so
Scallywag.
Who's a scally? Oh, geez, come on, Barry. We're all scallywags.
Oh, I like being a scallywag.
Okay, all right. He's a little, rambunctious
A little
today.
pirate.
Captain Patrick may not be as pirate friendly. I don't know. Are you, Patrick? What's going on with you?
I am not, but
Okay.
I did want to touch on something that Mike had mentioned and kind of get probably Mike's take on what he does. Barry, probably not so much with his boat, but certainly Mike. When you are, let me put it this way. When you open up a new package of dock lines, how do you prep them?
When I get new dock lines, I usually put them out on the dock and I wet them and stretch them as much as I can.
So just like setting up a guitar, new strings, we're going to go
stretch them out. Yeah.
We're going to stretch them and then bring them back.
Well,
So-
I also whip the ends of my lines because what they do
What'd they ever do to you?
just by
it's
What'd
like,
they ever
just
do
by
to you?
just by
That's
heating
cruel
them up
and
with a
unusual
match.
punishment
Whipping your
there.
line.
Yeah, but once you whip them, man, they never come apart again.
wow.
And
Hey,
you
we gotta
whip 'em
stop
good.
talking. This
You're
is
getting
going down. This is
canceled.
going
You're
down.
getting
This is going
canceled,
down a path
Barry.
we don't want to go down.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not talk about whipping. That's a
Yeah,
different
there'll
show.
be enough of that. All right, so so I don't know, just but you're saying they should wet the lines to make sure they're stretchy and stuff. Is that what you're getting at, Patrick?
Well, yeah. So in the case of, there is an approaching storm and you start to, oh man, I got to double up or triple up my lines. And if you were actually able to run out to the store or you got that bag of lines that's been sitting in your boat,
Oh, those are rotted.
stop it. Be aware. I mean, just like with anchor lines, especially if you're taking delivery of a new boat, is really taking that thing out, doing exactly what Mike said, which is wetting it, or in the case of, an anchor, if you've got anchor and chain road, getting it out, deploying it. I've done it at the factory where I've actually gone and hooked those up to the tractor, and then used that to stretch out, and then be able to with it properly wetted and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
You use a tractor to
remember.
He said
Wow.
tractor. I thought he's mowing the lawn, but now I realize he's using the tractor to move the boat. Okay.
Be aware that in that instance, if you've got new lines like that, the importance of making sure that they are properly prepped. There's nothing wrong with using them right out of the bag, but in the case of a storm or something like that, they're going to stretch a lot if you haven't done the proper prep with them.
Well, that's what they teach us in diving when we wear a BC. Greg can attest to this, that you're supposed to wet your BC beforehand, because
this is a family show, Barry.
The strap that holds the tank will stretch a little bit.
Right. Now, he didn't say how he wets it, Patrick, so let's just leave that lie. But regardless, I think we understand what's going on. Is there any better way than using a tractor to, like, stretch your lines like that when you get a fresh, bag of lines or something? What do they suggest for that, Patrick? You should know.
Get a friend and meet him in the parking lot.
Tug of war.
Yeah,
Tug of war.
Yeah, but you would need a real pickup truck, right, Patrick?
Quiet.
No, the Honda Ridgeline Element doesn't count.
Yeah. But do they even recommend that with new lines, like to stretch them like that before you put them into use? Or I didn't know that was a thing. They do. But is there a particular? Is there a real good technique in order to stretch your lines when you get a new
leave
set?
Them tied to your cleats as you try to leave your slip. That's an excellent way to stretch new dock lines.
Righty. And just hope they hold.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. Okay.
But to Patrick's point, that is the lesson I learned, because when Ian was approaching, I thought I was prepared. I moved the boat about 4 feet forward in the slip, and I double lined the hip cleat with spring, and then I also had an extra spring on the forward cleat because of the piling that was out there. But when I did that, all the lines were dry, and then I left, right, and I get a call the next day. My best friend's up there. He goes, "Hey, your boat's hitting the dock. I reset your lines for you." And I was shocked because they literally stretched about 3.5 feet. That's how far you and when you soak a line and stretch it, that kind of binds all those fibers, and they don't contract again. And that's the step I missed.
Okay, so just throw them in a bucket. Let them get good and soaked. When you get a fresh set of lines, maybe, and then before you use them the first time,
and then stretch it.
Yeah, and then stretch it as well as good as you can. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Now, Mike, I got to ask on an emotional level, because when Ian hit, we had stories about people who were determined to ride out the storm on their boat. Unfortunately, with Nicole, we had same stories. One out of Fort Pierce, where this couple was on a sailboat, and the sailboat broke free, and then the mast broke off because the boat got pinned under a bridge. Fire rescue actually showed up in the middle of Tropical Storm Nicole. They're trying to get them off the boat up onto the bridge. The force of the winds took the boat, shoved it under the bridge, eventually grounded on a sandbar, and they had to go out, and I guess they didn't have to, but they did. They went out and rescued these people. What are the emotions? I mean, from everybody that you boat with and are docked amongst there on Lake George, what is the driving factor that I'm not leaving my boat? I'm going to ride this thing out. Is it bravado? Is it fear?
No.
What is it?
No. Well, I'll say we're in a different situation than those that have boats on the coast. We're not in Titusville. We're not in Cocoa. We're not in Fort Pierce or any of those places where you're getting direct storm impacts. Actually, there were a lot of liveaboards in our marina that did stay on their boats. And I will say this, that I've been through several hurricanes now in this area. It is a good hurricane hole. It is relative. There were nobody's lives were in danger. We're an inland marina. We're very far inland. So for me, I have not stayed on the boat during a hurricane, but I've been on that boat at night or late afternoon when some of these Florida thunderstorms that produce 70-mile bursts of wind hit on a regular basis, and it's really no issue. But I think if you're on the coast and you have the added element of storm surge, which we don't have on Lake Monroe, those are all things. Nobody should be staying on a boat on the coast.
What happened to those folks on the sailboat exactly, Patrick? Fill us in.
They eventually were washed up on an island. They found a bunch of other survivors, and they are now communicating to us with radio coconuts.
Wilson!
He walked right into that.
They put a smiley face and coconuts on the beach, right?
Of course they did.
Professor, there was an actress.
Oh, all right. 3-hour tour, the whole thing. Got it. All right. We got more coming up on the World of Boating. Stay close.
Listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Hi, guys. Y'all look great. It's so good to see y'all.
Likewise.
Welcome to Hilton Head Island. It's absolutely beautiful. It's so amazing. And so I figured what better way to see the island than on a boat. Yeah. So you guys, come on, let's go.
This is the World of Boating. Bachelor in Paradise, by the way, wrapping it up. They're towards the end of their, love making and matchmaking and all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you, they ought to take them out on a boat because they don't seem to be having very good luck there on the island. I think it's in Mexico. They ought to take them out on a boat, and they'd all get along, and there would be no drama. As soon as there was any drama, they just kick them off the boat, make them walk the plank, and then they have a much better show. Actually, that's kind of like the new Love Boat, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know.
What happened to you, Greg? Was it the heart issue? Was it that fake vomiting on the beach for the video?
No, I'm just trying to keep our passengers informed on the latest reality TV.
That you made this turn towards Unreal TV.
It's not Unreal. It's reality TV. The new Love Boat. They got the new Love Boat, Patrick. Come on. I know you're a fan. Don't lie to me.
How much you talk about this, we are never joining your cult.
I'm the only one willing to talk the truth when it comes to these shows. All of the other guys just won't admit that they watch it religiously. And I share this stuff. So if you're not really up to speed on it, you can be up to speed as a fellow boater and boating enthusiast and fan of those
Greg
type of boating
Greg is kind enough
shows.
to share that with us.
Right.
Thank you.
You're
Greg.
welcome. Yeah. I do it so you don't have to.
Okay, thanks.
Got a lot of other things that we want to talk about. Moving on from Mike's and the high level of water that is inundated.
Moving on from
Sanford,
Mike's misfortune,
and
we have other
no
news.
more hurricane talk, no more tropical storm talk until
We're done.
when hurricane season begins.
November 30th.
14 days. So we got a 14-day respite before we start talking about hurricane season again.
Okay. Like it.
So some things that I just want to mention, we're really not going to talk about, but want to make our listeners aware of, to go to the World of Boating Facebook page and like us and check out these stories. I promise you will not be deluged during the day with just a bunch of, it's kind of some fun stuff, some industry stuff. So if you want to stay hip in what's happening, unlike Greg, check us out, be a friend, or certainly check out worldofboating.com. So did you guys see this down from New Zealand? There is a great video taken from the helm, looking out at the bow of this boat when this mako shark, a fair-sized mako shark at that, lands on top of the bow of this boat. And,
Nice.
You know, at that point, what do? You're
Run
not
for
going
your
out
lives
there
and
to
jump
try to
off the
get
boat.
thing-
What? No. If there's one mako shark, there's going to be more than one.
You're just at this point hoping this thing finds its way off of your boat, because there's no way you're going out. I don't care how much you're a fan of wildlife or sharks and friends of, you're not going anywhere near this thing because it is going to kill you. And eventually it did find its way off of the boat back into the water. So that story is there, along with that somewhat terrifying video.
I'll bet the shark was just as surprised as the people were.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. How big was the mako? Do we know how big the mako was? Because they can get pretty like 12 foot or bigger.
I'd say he was at least 10, 12 feet based on what I saw. Let's wait. He was so big, he came up on the bow of that boat, and that bow of that boat, you could see
Dropped.
a noticeable shift.
Yes.
And he was not happy. Plans for a new $200 million royal yacht have been scrapped, which is kind of hate to see that, but also kind of good news because the royal family really didn't ask for a new yacht or anything like that.
They scrapped my yacht?
Well, they never even started building it.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of some good news, bad news, I guess. Plus, with all the Russian yachts out there that are being, kind of taken, you would think that they'd be able to find one that, hey, let's just use this one and rename it.
What was the reason? Why are they not getting it?
Because with the turmoil, if you will, within the British legislature there, this was something that was approved by Boris Johnson. However, the royal, and it was going to be named after the Duke of Edinburgh, who of course has passed. But from the royal family itself, it's like, hey, we really don't have any comment because we didn't ask for one. So this isn't anything that we asked that the government for them to do. The previous, which was used extensively by Queen Elizabeth and her family, traveled the world, kind of goodwill missions and raised the stature of, supposedly the England and the monarchy and, so on and so forth. But
had 18 guns on it too.
That one was old. So old that they refer to the nautical miles that it had steamed.
Okay.
So,
raise the sails, aye, Captain.
Yeah, pretty much. So that is not moving forward as far as we know. In industry news, want to make everybody aware that the Fort Myers, of course, was almost pretty much ground zero there for Ian. The Fort Myers Boat Show has been rescheduled for January 5th through the 8th. And if you're looking to go to a boat show and you're looking to come to Florida, specifically the Southwest Coast, make it a point to drop in and check out the show as they are continuing to recover and rebuild down in that area. They've checked out the venue site. They deemed that, everything is going to be in place and they're good to go. So they could certainly use the financial impact to the local economy there. So if there was any boat show that you were going to check out in advance of Miami in February, it would be the Fort Myers Boat Show. So
all right,
put it on your calendar, check it out. There'll be lots of stuff there. Other news financially, the U.S. Department of Commerce Bureau of Economics Analysis released the 2021 economic data that showed outdoor recreation as a whole generated how much money? Barry, go.
Outdoor recreation
nationwide
covers everything that we do outdours.
Okay. Nationwide.
$30 billion.
Oof, that's
Mike.
way too low.
I'm going to say $150 billion.
Greg.
I'm going to go 200 bill.
Oh, you guys are so low.
Yeah.
Really?
You want to go
half a
round?
trillion, half a
Okay,
trillion.
No. One more round.
gonna open
One more
up a
round.
t-shirt.
Greg goes first this time.
Half
Mike?
a trillion. I'm going half a trillion. Mike?
That's not a number.
What? 500 billion. That's half a trillion.
All
Hello.
right, that's a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to do the quick
an
math for
algorithm.
Patrick.
Yeah,
I
algorithm.
apologize.
600,
Mike, what do you got?
650 billion.
And I will go 650
Billion and 1 cent.
$1 more.
Barry's going to be the winner there because he went.
I know how to play
just
this
over
game.
Yeah.
$862 billion.
Wow. Is that up from
Wow.
last year or
So
the year
this-
before,
so
or
this
what do we
count-
know, Patrick?
Okay, so this is that is the economic output, which
Right.
supports 4.5 million jobs.
Understood.
This
But is
is-
that up from last year or lower? It's a question. Just saying, get to it. What is it?
Just stick with your half a trillion, all right? This is the fifth consecutive year that they've released the government data. So 862 billion in economic impact. It's 1.9% of the GDP, 4.5 million jobs, and some other insights there that we've seen record growth, camping and boating over the past couple years, millions of
I
people
wonder
enjoying
why.
RVs and boats, blah, blah, blah. So that story is
So-
there
so-
as well. And if you want to research it further and prepare a class report for Greg, you can do so and then
Okay.
contact him.
So Patrick doesn't know. Well, we'll give him the commercial break to find out if the percentage is higher, which I assume it is, and we'll get that for you next on the World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
The word ship is hidden inside the word leadership as its derivation. So, if this office is in fact a ship, as its leader, I am the captain. But we're all in the same boat.
Aye, aye, Captain. Captain, please, can you see my fire? Message in a bottle, starboard side.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounding out the crew. All right, so we looked up some stuff on Google, and hopefully we know that the money generated from outdoor activities for the last year, I'm assuming, are up. Do we know the percentage, Patrick?
972%. And I
Okay.
just want to say that we are now in a war with Mike.
War with Mike.
Mike is firmly entrenched on Mike believes that hiking as an outdoor activity, recreation,
Yeah.
generates more money than boating. So send your hate mail.
No,
Send
I
your
did
hate
not
mail.
say that.
All right, well, before we get into that argument, we promised to give him the percentage.
Nothing is more expensive than boating.
Okay, before we get into that, though, what is it an uptick in the numbers, Patrick? Do we have the
I
difference?
don't have the numbers, Greg, but I would expect that it is an uptick.
Okay.
Uptick. But here's what we have from the NMMA for 2021.
Yeah.
Total recreation marine expenditures. Okay, so now we're diving down in, we're digging in, we're pulling out this raw data. Reached a high of $56.7 billion in 2021. New powerboat sales totaled 218,868 units, the second highest unit total in the last 14 years. Here's the big one. Pre-owned boat sales. How many units were moved? Pre-owned boat sales. Barry.
200 million boats.
Oh boy.
I have no idea.
Boats,
Well,
new power
you
boats
said
were
how many new ones were sold? Was 200 and right?
218,000 new power boats.
Oh, 218,000. Okay, so I figured 200,000 used.
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah, I'd say 3 times. So call it 900,000.
Okay. And my guess is a crap load. So
Okay. 1
Yeah,
million.
crap load.
1
That's probably
million
closer.
1
pre-owned
million.
boats.
Nice.
1 million. That was for the second time in 14 years that they've hit that number.
Yeah.
So, things continue to be strong on the boating end, and our impact is awesome. So be aware for our friends out there listening, your voice on things such as regulations, rules, things that they're trying to enact, possibly restrict in some areas. Your voice carries a lot of weight financially. Don't hesitate to use it, but use it for the power of good. Don't go
power
to the
of
dark
good.
side
Okay.
and be a hiker like Mike.
Let's get just for the record. Hiking does generate a lot of income for
Oh
the
my
shoe
God.
manufacturers.
Yes, Greg.
Yes.
And sandals and sticks. The sticks
Do you-
that they have on the trails.
Well, they don't do a lot of boating in the Appalachian Mountains, but
Well-
they do a lot of hiking in the Appalachian Mountains. and
They
there are a
will
lot of
in
lodging.
25 years.
Okay.
Greg,
Yes, Barry. Go.
do you remember many years ago for one of the Christmas parties we came up there and I brought hardtack and grog.
Right.
So
I had
what-
blocked
what-
that out until you just mentioned it, but now it's coming back.
Mike wanted to know what hardtack was. Can you
Uh-huh.
describe it to him?
Well, now I want to know what grog is.
Yeah. Why are you bringing this up? Because this is what you think he should take on his next trail hike or something? Or
Yeah.
what?
Well, we were talking about, people from years ago when they would walk these trails and they would have to
Okay.
eat hardtack. And drink,
Okay,
you
that's
know,
I'm
whatever.
just connecting dots because I'm like, where did this come from? Okay, so hardtack is disgusting, and it's like trying to chew on a brick of
Yes.
like old bread or something, like really hard
Okay.
bread.
And grog sounds just wonderful. What
Well,
is
hey.
grog?
Grog is heavily fermented mead.
Mead.
Oh,
It
made
is
out of
not-
honey?
It is not at all. It's what you ever have a mojito?
No, grog is what people
yeah.
call
No,
me
no,
when
but-
they've had too much to drink. Hey, grog, what's
that's-
going on? Hey, I love
groggy.
you, man.
Old grog. Have you ever
Yeah.
had a mojito?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, a mojito has mint. A grog does not. It's basically rum, water, simple syrup, and lemon.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
lime
Okay.
juice.
So
Doesn't
it's a
really
less
taste that good,
interesting-
actually.
So it's a
but-
less interesting mojito.
Which is why they
Okay.
call it grog.
Right.
Okay.
It was the way to get. It was the way to
The marketing
get some
people are
liquids.
really missing out on
Well,
that.
the grog
No.
it's old school stuff. It's
old
all
school,
pirate stuff.
Boating. Yep.
Yeah, they
Not just
originally
pirate, all
called it Greg,
ships.
but they
Yeah.
kept misplacing the E for the O.
Uh-huh. Right. So I don't know why we brought this up, but whatever.
I
It
don't
is
know either. I was
Boat
going on
drinks.
industry news.
boat drinks. Yeah, okay. We could
Boat
use
drinks.
one after this
Hey,
conversation. Yeah.
Last bit of industry news. It was announced this week. ZF Marine of ZF Transmissions, they have unveiled for the first time ever
Drum roll, please.
No.
a pod drive system. Hey,
Oh, my God.
welcome 2005. Way to go, guys. Geez, man. However,
there is no more expensive system in the world to operate. than that.
Oh no! Oh, you wait till you see what's coming, my friend.
Why? What?
I
What?
can't talk about it on the industry, right? Because I've been sworn to secrecy on some of these projects coming out of our R&D, and there are much more expensive systems.
Boy, like Pod Drive
really?
Plus?
Yeah, Greg, Pod Drive Plus. That's what they're calling
Okay,
it.
so you're not a big fan of this, is what
Well,
you're alluding to.
Here,
I think.
here's the thing. Their 4600 pod is designed for boats with planing or semi-displacement hulls from 80 to 130 feet. It's compatible with all OEM engines up to 1,700 horsepower at a maximum of 2,450 RPM. For me, I kind of like the jet drive systems, I think, in boats that size versus pods.
Why?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm a big fan of Hinckley's. I think they're just beautifully designed, and they really, really nailed it when they went that direction with the propulsion systems, because those boats are so versatile and they can go so many places. And those jet drives are actually fairly simple.
Yeah,
You know, they're not
less moving
very
parts,
complicated
right?
designs.
Yeah.
Very few moving parts. And then, you know, of course, I'm old school. I like a shaft with a prop and a rudder. Just very few moving parts.
So
But,
yeah, what's your deal, Patrick? Are you a fan of the shaft, or are you like the pod, or what? What's so funny? It's a question.
That's not where I was going with that.
I was counting down because I knew it would be Greg. I knew it was.
You're a twin screw kind of guy, right? Simple
How many more
question.
minutes of this is there left?
Simple question,
Well,
simple
about
answer.
Six.
Should
We've got
be.
about 6 minutes, and this,
Yeah.
this will be over.
But why don't you like the pods, honestly, Patrick? Please explain.
It's not that I don't like the pods. It's that everything that's been okay. Volvo Penta on the recreation market really set this in 2005, and everybody's been playing catch up since then. Mercruiser with the Zeus pod drive system, other pods that have come out. So
They're late to the party. A little late.
They're
a little late. Yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty late, and largely what Mike and I were really kind of alluding to is there's still recreational application for pod drives. There are going to be some people that are just, you know, inboard diesel and they want pod drives, whether it's the area that they boat in or the type of boating that they do. They don't want outboards.
All right. Well, it's personal preference. You're not a pod person. I get it. That makes sense. He doesn't like the pod. He just likes the more traditional approach with the engine.
What I'm saying is it's already been done and the industry has kind of moved on.
Okay.
To the next thing.
Not a pod person. Got it. Okay. On that note, we're going to have to wrap it up because we're out of time. Till next time, remember, whether it is sail or motor,
life is
better as a motor.
Safe boating, everyone.
Come back here, you barnacle-bitten swab!
World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.